This is going to be in effect tonight through, let's see, let me just double check the warning. I think it's a quick 7:30, so we'll stay with you. This is not a tornado warning, but we've seen situations where things can tornado quickly. Let me go to the bulletin and see how it's moving. It's moving actually northeast at about 35 miles per hour. So let me track the leading edge of those gusty winds northeast at about 35 miles per hour, and that gives us this as far as the track goes. Now, I can also expand that out a little bit. Let's take that out to, instead of 20 minutes, 30 minutes, maybe even 40 minutes. And that gives us a few more areas. So this is a severe thunderstorm warning for really southeastern Shelby County right now until 7:30. It probably won't go as long in Shelby County until 7:30 because the worst of it could be out around 7:15. But also keep in mind the area is under a risk also tonight for tornadoes. Now, there are no watches or warnings right now, and this is the initial wave of what we're expecting. There's another line actually behind this, but right now if you're anywhere in this track, expect gusty winds and also expect to lose power. That's a possibility as well. The micro soccer complex in about 3 minutes. Worst of the storm, Hope Church right now, Germantown Baptist Church, which is right on the line between Germantown and Collierville on Poplar Avenue. In fact, that's a vaccination site. Houston High School at 7:03, and Oakland, which would be in Fayette County by 7:29 tonight. So again, here's a micro soccer complex. Here is Olive Branch here. Just to give you a perspective, the Lander Center in Horn Lake is right here. University of Memphis is right here. So that is what we have going on right now. Again, this is the first warning issued of the day. We are under a level 3 risk for severe weather tonight. So tornadoes cannot be ruled out, but with this initial line anyway, it does look like the main threat is wind, at least at the moment. But keep in mind, these storms can and sometimes do produce tornadoes. As we go back out on a wide view here, you can see this is not the only activity going on, but 2 different radars actually picked up on winds in this area that were gusting up to 60. And when you have winds that high, that can take out power. So we'll be watching for any power outages. Certainly don't want you to go outside in weather like this because it's dangerous. And not only is flooding an issue, the criteria for issuing a severe thunderstorm warning is winds 58 miles an hour or higher. That's why we're saying at least 60 mile an hour wind gust, or hail that is 1 inch in diameter or larger. Or, of course, a tornado. But right now, that is not the case. We're looking at mainly gusty winds, damaging winds headed toward Germantown High School, and it's moving fast. It's now picking up some steam at about 35 to 40, maybe even 45 miles an hour. Here is Collierville right here. There's Collierville. Here's Germantown Baptist along Poplar Avenue. So that'll be coming up on Houston Levee, eventually by Hallia Road as you slide into Collierville. If you know where Lifetime Fitness is, the gym there at Horn Lake Fitness Facility, not Horn Lake, Houston Levee and Poplar Avenue is what I meant to say. So that is where some of the worst is right now. And at Germantown, it does look like, at least around Germantown Parkway and Poplar, that the worst has passed you, but still some heavy rain. Now, what I am hopeful of is that this activity will help weaken that second line that moves through later tonight as a cold front moves through. Here's River Boulevard, and here's Hope Church right here. So if you know where Bailey Station is, Powell Road, as we get closer to Collierville, that is where some of the worst of the winds are going to be. Let me step off screen real quick because I do want to draw a new storm track as this cell continues to move off to the north and east. Let's see, the very latest is, all right, at 35 miles per hour. And this is going to create some flooding issues also. That's another dynamic to the storm that we are watching out for. The worst of this is in southeastern Shelby County right now, and it's going to be moving into it's going to be moving into Fayette County shortly. Let me show, what I'm doing is tracking the outer leading edge of where some of the strongest winds are. And like I said, if it's moving northeast at 35, we can put a new track on here for you, and we'll do just that. Right now, these are not tornado winds, but they are winds that are, capable of producing a tornado. And the reason we are on the air right now is because a severe thunderstorm warning was issued just minutes ago for Shelby County. And it's not just Shelby County. It is into Fayette County as well. The extreme western part of Fayette County. But let me show you some of these winds right now. They are gusting pretty high. Now, on the latest scan, let's see inside the warning itself, 50 miles per hour. There's a 45 mile per hour wind gust. So you can see the winds are gusting, and winds this high can take out power. Now, this is the initial wave of storms that is coming through right now. We're going to have another line later tonight associated with a cold front, and the Storm Prediction Center has been discussing issuing a tornado watch for parts of the area. There's about a 60% chance of that. So we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. But here's the updated track. Collierville, 711, when the heaviest winds your way. Piperton at 715, Oakland at 723, Rossville at 725, Williston at 739, Somerville 739, Moscow 742, and if it holds together, Whiteville by 8 o'clock. So the bright green is the gustiest winds, and that's what we're taking a look at right now. So the problem is, this is not the only severe weather threat we had tonight. I wish it was, but it's not. Now you can see these brighter greens. That's where the worst of the weather is, the bright greens indicating high winds. But let me go back to a regular view of the radar, because I know when we use all these colors sometimes, I know how confusing it can be. It's like, what is he looking at? What's he talking about? What does this mean to me? Well, the red indicates the heaviest rain right now. And as far as lightning goes, there's quite a bit of lightning in that line. And maybe even some small rotation forming in DeSoto County. As I look at it right now, there may be some rotation going on here. This is our rotation detector, and there could be some rotation going on in here. So this could turn into a tornado, which in that case, directors and producers, we would go wall to wall on both stations, CW30, but not right now, because it is just a severe thunderstorm warning. I just wanted to give you a heads up, though, as now we are seeing some broad rotation in southeastern Shelby County, or excuse me, southeastern DeSoto County, and it's actually, it's this thing right here. This is a very interesting radar signature right here. That's just east of Hernando, and there is some small rotation in there. Just going to take a look real quick. Yeah, it's small, but it's there, indicating that the atmosphere is not very happy. And that is why we're on the air. All right, let me continue to track this. By the way, I should note, if you are in like the Fraser area or northwestern Shelby County, you may be wondering why we're on the air. This is not affecting the entire county, but it is affecting a lot of people. And these winds are pretty nasty, and they could be rotating. So that is, that's another reason we're on the air. This is not just a severe thunderstorm threat. Sometimes we say, oh, it's just going to be straight line winds. Well, not necessarily the case. We are in peak tornado season in the Mid-South, and this is the time of year that is most active for tornadoes on average. This is our typical month that does produce the most tornadoes, April and May, especially April. The latest track here, Arlington at 717, Galloway at 723, Oakland, if it remains on this course at this speed, it will be in your area at 730, Somerville at 750, and that's the first time I've seen this down. Eureka time. And if I get that wrong, please email me, jbryant@localmemphis.com. I apologize. That's the first time I've ever seen that town. But that is the path right now. Collierville seeing the worst of the winds right now, up to 60 miles per hour right in here. Let me zoom in a little bit closer. Again, severe thunderstorm warning. This one's going to go until 7:30, and the radar was indicating the potential of some weak rotation in DeSoto County, but not enough to give a tornado warning yet. Here's Collierville, here's Piperton. Again, these winds are headed in your direction, and you don't have a lot of time. They're moving fast, moving northeast, so that's going to be over the Collierville area pretty soon. And also Piperton. These winds are headed toward your area too. So you are under the threat level right here. Collierville and Piperton, damaging winds, 60 miles per hour. And that is not the only thing working right now in the region. There is rotation going on right now in DeSoto County. And you have another line that we have to watch that is back to the west. And this line is associated with the cold front itself. It's this line of storms here. That's going to come through later. The hope is the energy that all this is using, the fuel, if you will, for this mess here, will interrupt that and maybe not have a lot of fuel left over later when the actual cold front comes through. So I don't want you to think, I guess my point in saying all that is I don't want you to think that just because this is in and out, that our severe weather threat is over. All of the area is under a level 3 risk of severe weather tonight. That is a pretty high risk on a scale of 1 to 5. It's a 3, and right now it's this area right here that the Weather Service has issued the warning for, with some very gusty winds, possibly gusting up to or over 60 miles per hour. And that can bring down trees, and certainly you don't want to be out driving in this. I know it might seem like it's not a big deal, but it is, believe me. And this warning wasn't just issued by accident. Also, another area of suspicion continues to be in here near the Olive Branch area. That's going to be pulling northeast as well. All this activity is moving to the east, northeast at about 35 to 40 miles per hour. And it did develop pretty quickly just in the last hour or two. There wasn't a lot going on, but now there is. And even in other parts of Shelby County right now, it's just raining heavily right here. Millington, downtown Memphis, the University of Memphis. The heaviest activity is in eastern Shelby County as we speak, and more specifically, extreme southeastern Shelby County, where the warning is right now, active severe thunderstorm warning until 7:30 tonight, as these winds are really strong around Collierville and will be pulling into Collierville and Oakland. And by the way, only if you can do it safely. See it, snap it, send it to our app, Local 24. Real easy to do. All you have to do is you have our app, take a picture, put it in our app, it'll show you a place right there, and it will really be helpful to us for verification purposes and just to give an actual view of what's going on. Do we have any? There it is. You see it right now. You can download it for free on your Android or Apple device. You can watch us live, too. That's another thing you can do. You can watch us live on the air should you lose power. David, if you have any T-dots out that way just to see what it's looking like, that would also be a nice thing to see. If you don't, no worries. Okay, great. So if you see any, just think about that. In the meantime, we're also not going to take our eye off of this area in eastern DeSoto County that possibly has some rotation with it, some broad rotation. I am going to step off the screen here because I do want to get the latest information that we have from the National Weather Service for you, because we have an instant chat with them where they can actually give us up to the second information. And let's see here. Strongest velocities are, strongest velocity is from Germantown to Cordoba. And there is still fairly broad rotation southwest of Byhalia. And again, just to reiterate, that would be right here. That's the rotation part of the storm that could put down a tornado. So that's what we're looking at right now, is that rotation. Thankfully not strong enough yet, but I want you to be aware of Byhalia or anywhere in Marshall County that there is that possibility, and we're watching it, even though technically I don't believe we are under a tornado watch. Let me double check that from the storm. No, we're not. Storm Prediction Center can send those out pretty quickly, but they were talking about a 60% chance, and no, they never did issue a watch, but it doesn't matter. You can have tornadoes. You don't have to be in a watch they can issue them if a radar sights one. So let's do this. Let's put a new track on all this activity here as it continues to move northeast at about 35 to 40 miles per hour. So there is your updated track. Collierville, we are talking about basically 2 minutes when those strongest winds are going to be in and over your area. So just don't leave. Call your kids, let them know what's going on, because a lot of people are out and about, and this is the thing we want to protect you. We want to protect you because our safety, your safety, is the most important thing to us, the most important thing we do. And it has been an active severe weather season. And folks, I'll go ahead and tell you now, we have another event that we may be dealing with on Friday. And it actually, to me, is looking more impressive than what we're dealing with right here. So just keep that in the back of your head. That Friday afternoon, Friday night, Saturday morning could be all very eventful. And I think actually it's going to be worse than this. But this is producing 60, perhaps 65 to 70 mile an hour winds. Hurricane force winds are 74. So if you just keep that in mind, if they're up to about 65, and then if they hit 70, you're getting close to that. But no confirmed damage yet. We're still trying to get reports in. Hopefully we'll have no reports. And let's see, Collierville right now, worst of the weather, worst of the winds right now. Piperton at 719, Oakland at 734, Williston at 745, and Somerville at 750. So technically this warning, let's see, did they cancel it? Because I don't see my flashing box anymore, or did I just turn it off? That's also a possibility. Again, I have to walk over to the wire to check it, make sure. And they did cancel it for Fayette and Shelby County. So guys, what we're going to do with that in mind, with no other active warnings, we are going to return you to programming, as now our warning has been canceled. Rest assured, we'll be back if something takes place. LocalMemphis.com, download our app, Local 24, and let's go back to our regular programming.